Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. I'm sitting here counting my gray hairs, son. How's everybody doing? Thank you very much for being here. Oh man, how can I explain this? A lot of prepping channels talking about this, but it needs to be talked about. It feels like the fix is in. It feels like I've heard a couple of creators say they're parachuting in someone to replace the thief in chief, and I think that that's what's going on as well. I just want to offer my 2 cents on it. It just again, it feels like the fix is in and it's inevitable at this point. So here's what happened, and this is just one man's perspective, okay? Y'all can let me know in the comments or the live chat what you think has happened over the past 3.5 years. My perspective is this: we've been punished with Joe Biden for close to 4 years. I think it's safe to assume a lot of people in the chat did not want Joe Biden in the White House. A lot of people in the chat and, the replay crowd did not vote for Joe Biden. Now, maybe you didn't vote at all. Maybe you voted for T-Man. Maybe you voted third party. It doesn't really matter. But I think a large majority of the people listening and watching, they're not fans of Biden. And I will admit it. Anytime I'm wrong about something, I will admit it here on Prepper Nation. I'm about to show y'all what I'm talking about. I can remember saying this man is not going to make it halfway through his term because year and a half in, he was so incoherent and babbly. I guess babbly's a word, right? He was babbling a lot. And I said, there's no way this dude is going to make it through all 4 years. But it appears to be that he's going to make it till the end of his term. I don't know. I mean, there's still several months until November, right? But as of right now, it appears that he's going to finish out his term. So I was wrong on that. But let's face it, a lot of y'all were too, because I can remember us predicting that together. And who knows, maybe something crazy will happen out of, Kamala Harris or something. I don't know, but we spent 4 years complaining is what I'm trying to get to here. We told everyone from the beginning, this man's incompetent. Again, he's incoherent. He can't walk. I can remember doing a video, been a couple of years back now, where this dude was over in Europe and they were having a big meeting of the nations, and he walked into some sort of a food tent randomly, and he sat down, and he really thought he was at the meeting, like whatever the G meetings are, all right, the global leadership meetings, and he's sitting in a tent where people are eating ribbon fries and looking around, and he doesn't even realize he's not at the actual meeting. And I remember Secret Service and Jill Biden had to come and walk him out, and people in Europe were laughing at him inside of this food tent. They couldn't believe it. This is the leader of the free world, if you will. At that point in time, I said, there's no way this guy's going to make it to the end of his term. It's just not possible. He's just not competent. But let's be honest here. The left, and when I say the left, okay, I'm talking about your never Trumpers. I'm talking about your swamp rats, the never MAGAs, all these people that are unhinged and they have the derangement syndrome and they were crying when T-Man won. You remember that with the big hat on going, no, those people, right? They rode with Biden even harder. They doubled down on this clown. They said, he's the guy. He's our man. Uh, to spite people like us. That's all it was about. They knew at that point as well he was incompetent. They'll never admit that to you, but they knew at that point this dude is a clown without makeup on, right? But it was about getting even at conservatives, and it was about spiting T-Man himself. They're going to ride this horse until it's no longer rideable whatsoever. And meanwhile, this guy destroyed our country. I mean, he just came in, as we predicted. He came in and he totally destroyed the country. He crashed the economy. You say whatever you want to about the C-19 and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Trump dealt with it. The economy was great under Trump for a very long time. The 19 hit. It did start to decline. But again, pandemic, right? Biden hasn't done anything to correct the economy that I'm aware of. And if you are a Biden supporter out there and you think he's great for the economy, please let me know why in the comments. I would love to hear that argument. He opened the border. He spent millions and went out of his way to tear down the stuff that Trump had put up. And now that the border is completely overrun, guess who he's blaming? Well, it's T-Man's fault, of course, because why not? I mean, he totally destroyed the country. People like us tried to speak up. You know, we're trying to wake people up. We're trying to let people know on social media, maybe even in the workplace, how bad this man was for the country, right? We gotta go through the process and get him out of there, right? Nobody wanted to hear it though. We were told, hey, sit down and shut up, and many of us were censored online, as a matter of fact. Speaking of censorship, if you don't mind helping me avoid it by hitting a thumbs up or a thumbs down and subscribing to the channel, that would truly be appreciated. But now, let's move on here. But now, Biden is 81 years old and he can barely walk. I mean, let's call a spade here. We're 2 years almost past the point of him wrecking bikes because he's incoherent. Now he can't even walk. Now he can't go up the steps. He can't go down the steps. He can't get on the stage. He can't get off the stage. Again, doesn't know food tent from global meeting. This man is not capable of debating. That's what this boils down to. And now the establishment wants him replaced. And that's why you're hearing a lot of people saying somebody's going to be parachuted in. And to be honest with you, I agree with this. I was texting back and forth the other night with Dynamite. We think it's going to be Michelle Obama. But I mean, look, it could be Gavin Newsom or somebody like that. But I think Michelle Obama will be the one to swoop in as a savior last minute. And the only reason these people care now is it's re-election time. Think what you want about the voting process in general. Really doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But now all of a sudden, mainstream media and the establishment and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, now they're pointing out the faults that Joe Biden has. The same ones that we tried to point out 3.5 years ago. And again, we were silenced, told to sit down and shut up. You know, we're supposed to love our president no matter who it is, and we're supposed to have his back or her back, no matter who it is. You know, at the end of the day, we line up behind the president, even if he's laying on the ground because he can't walk. And here's the thing, I don't want him to be replaced at this point. I really don't. I know that's going to be a controversial take, a hot take, whatever it's called, but I want history to see, and I want history to remember, especially when it comes to the debates. Can you imagine these debates? At this point, conservatives, controversial take. Please don't hate me for saying this, but again, it's the election cycle coming up, okay? We should be riding with Biden at this point. We should demand that this man be allowed to run again because of the debates. Because you're going to have 3 debates on national television in which you have Donald Trump. Think of him what you will, but in a debate situation, he is going to destroy Potato. Potato has no clue what's going on, right? And this is in front of everyone. And this is something the establishment does not want people to see. Our voice got ignored for 3.5 years. Now, because they need to swap things out, it's the right thing to do for America. You know, they're kind of taking Biden, and I've seen this in mainstream media. They're taking him, they're grouping him in with T-Man. And they're saying, hey, they're both bad for the country. We need somebody to swoop in and save the United States of America. Well, we had somebody that was saving the United States of America until the thief in chief arrived, right? This is self-inflicted, folks, by the left. I think, again, Michelle Obama is going to swoop in and mainstream media is going to fawn over her, as they always do. Or again, it could be Gavin Newsom. I think those are the two suspects, but they're just going to fawn over him and they're going to say, thank God, thank God Michelle Obama has decided to run for the presidency because Biden is not capable anymore. He never was, by the way, but they're going to say he's not capable anymore. And this gives us a great alternative to T-Man, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you've got Haley hanging on. She's had the brakes beat plumb off her back for I don't know how many weeks now. She's done and dusted at this point. She's just hanging on in case T-Man would not make all of the ballots or something, maybe to split the vote. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why she's even there at this point. But to me, this is not good enough. Not after Joe Biden went Godzilla on the United States of America. This is the only comparable thing I could think of, right? When Godzilla's in a city and he's just tearing stuff up at random. This is Joe Biden. You know what I mean? This is like handing a kid two of the mini-sized metal baseball bats and sending them into one of those fancy shops where they got glassware and breakables everywhere. The kind of place that Miss Nation won't let me take the kids into. You know what I'm saying? Um, and he's just in there. This is what he's done for 3.5 years. And again, we've been punished because of it. I say he deserves the Feinstein treatment. Do you remember that? Y'all remember the Feinstein treatment? Where the lady was so old and so incapable of doing her job that they were carrying her inside of a blanket in order to cast a vote. Give Biden the Feinstein treatment. Put him in it doesn't even have to, it can be one of the Aladdin rugs, like on the movie. Wrap him up in one of these rugs like a mummy, carry him in, put him in a wheelchair, hand him a couple of green crayons for the debate, and let the debates happen. I don't think the left deserves a free pass, if I'm being honest here. Because again, this man, I don't know how many votes he got. You can look at the official number, you can dispute the official number. There's no way for us to know. But I know this man got some votes. All right, whether it's 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 doesn't really matter. People voted for this man. Not because he was capable, not because he was competent, but because they hated Donald Trump. Let's be real. They hated T-Man and they hated conservatives. And so they cast a vote for this idiot. And now I think they need to, rather than getting a diaper change a few months before the election, I honest to goodness think they need to sit in this dirty diaper because it stinks horribly at this point. Let him go, let mainstream media cover his campaign from the nursing home when he's sitting there and Jill's pushing him around the nursing home. Let that happen, please, for the sake of posterity and for the sake of history. I want history to remember this circus. I really do. This whole thing has been a circus from beginning to end. Play the blame game all you want, point fingers or whatever. Y'all know it. Whether you're Democrat out there, whether you're a Republican or an independent, whatever, you know that this has been a complete circus from start to finish. This entire term, again, has been like Godzilla in some city somewhere, right? Except Godzilla's standards, he wouldn't touch an American city in 2024. We had to endure it as American citizens, as taxpayers. We had to endure it. All of the face diaper nonsense, all of the do your part, the 6 feet apart. We had to endure this clown on TV threatening people with fighter jets and being blamed for the 19, for the Rona. We had to endure being told T-Man's going to lead us to war and then having this clown lead us into multiple wars. We'd endure all this. I'll not raise your taxes 1 penny. Mine have doubled. I don't know about y'all out there. We had to endure it all. So at the very least, the people that voted for this idiot, they need to own it. And they need to see it in real time. And history needs to record it so future generations can see what we had to go through because we're in documentary territory at this point, folks. I mean, come on. Put this guy in an Aladdin rug, carry him in, lay him up on stage like a vegetable, hand him a microphone, and let him debate Trump. People that voted for this man need that kind of embarrassment. I doubt it'll wake them up, but they need to be embarrassed because it's shameful what we've had to go through here in the United States of America. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Take care and God bless.